Black Magic Woman podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this episode on. We also acknowledge traditional owners of the land where you, the listener or viewer, are tuning in from. We would like to pay our respects to our elders past and present and acknowledge that this always was Aboriginal land and always will be Aboriginal land.
So it's the fastest growing sector in the Australian economy. I encourage all those young Aboriginal businessmen, women, entrepreneurs out there, go for it. And one of those things I say to my children is that there's no greater freedom, autonomy and independence, all right, to have your own company where you've got the destination of your family, your grandchildren in your hands.
Welcome to the Black Magic Woman podcast with Mundanara Bales.
Watamuli Oyu Mob, it's so good to be back. I'm actually recovering from surgery, and that's why I had my deadly sister, the one and only Ginny, also known as Ginny's Girl Gang, represent at Supply Nation and get behind the microphone as a guest host and yarn to some deadly black business owners. So on this episode, this special edition showcases some of the black business owners that was at the recent Supply Nation Connect trade show that was in Brisbane on Yagara Turrbal country. We got to talk to National Naidoc Elder of the Year, Uncle Kim Collard, all the way from Noongar Budja, west coast of Australia, for people that don't know Noongar country, also known as Perth, but also yarning with deadly sister from Killara Services, Jasmine. There's a young fella there representing as the ops manager working in the family business, and a few other guests. I'm not going to give too much away. I hope you enjoy this deadly episode. And don't forget, reach out to these black business owners. You can get on Supply Nation's website and have a look at the Indigenous Business Directory.
Tell me who you are and where you're from and who's your mob.
Right, I'm Steve Ella. I'm a proud Newman man from the far south coast. I grew up in the Aboriginal community of Laperouse, where all my mob's from, so all the Ella league players and football rugby players, that's all my mob.
Yeah, right.
My company's Zipella Coffee, so for me it's around having Aboriginal coffee that we can get into the corporate world and have people enjoy the cultural experiences that we have with our conversations, and so that's been very successful for us, and look forward to continuing that.
Yeah, totally. How long have you been in business?
I've been in business since 2014, 2015, so I partnered with an organisation called Brew Hub, and the reason for that was I got the Aboriginal Indigenous coffee brand, but I needed a vehicle to get my coffee into the market, and Brew Hub is an organisation that's a national organisation who work with a whole range of multi-corporates, and using Brew Hub as a vehicle and as a key partner to get my coffee into the corporate world has been really beneficial, not only for me but also to them.
Yeah.
But I've got to say them taking me on as a partner has allowed my business to be successful, and that's one of the good things I really like about my partnership with Brew Hub is their values and the way they see things. It's very similar to mine, where we support not only Aboriginal business and Aboriginal engagement, but we also support our staff and want to look after our staff, and so that's always one of the things I always value when we're working with across organisations, that we support our workers and look after them, they'll look after us.
Yeah, totally. We know, black businesses, sometimes that can be a long and hard road. What keeps you going?
Well, I suppose there's two things. The first thing is that it's an opportunity for me to have an Aboriginal business that provides not only an Aboriginal coffee to the marketplace, but it provides Aboriginal engagement.
Yeah.
And that Aboriginal engagement also provides education, support, and sort of mini version of cultural awareness to services. And when you talk about why we have an Aboriginal coffee or the importance of Aboriginal engagement, our non-Aboriginal brothers and sisters, we need to keep having that conversation with them to reinforce that we are a proud people. We are I suppose a people that it's not going away, and we want to provide for our families. We also want to provide for our culture and our mobs as well. So I think that's one of the good things that allows me to keep going. The other reason it allows me to keep going is the opportunity to provide support to an Aboriginal organisation called Kari. So I provide percentage of my funds, percentage of my profits to Kari to support their engagement of Aboriginal kids in out-of-home care.
Yeah, deadly. We love Kari. And obviously 2014, it's good 10 years now. What's been a highlight? What's been the most significant milestone?
Oh, look, the first milestone was we launched our first blend, which we've had for the last 10 years, and probably the most important thing for me now is we're launching our second blend. So my first blend is called Little Bay, and Little Bay is an area around La Perouse where I grew up as a kid, and I used to die for food, and that's feed our families, whatever. But my second blend, which we're launching today, is Yarra Bay, and Yarra Bay is also in the La Perouse area. It's all about our mob and about our culture, about our families. But Yarra Bay is where we used to meet, have our family, I suppose, gatherings, and as kids we used to run around the beach there and spend all our time either in the sand hills in the beach or on the rocks. So they're really culturally significant to me and my family, and so using those names is really significant to having an Aboriginal coffee brand.
Beautiful. And like Clint and I are excited. We're going to come past there and grab a cup. I'm so excited. I need more caffeine. But what's next for Zipella? Like, where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Well, I suppose for me, it's around how do I expand my business, and one of the things I'm really keen on doing is getting my I've been doing the coffee, I suppose, by myself with Brew Hub. What I want to do now is actually expand that and bring my girls and my family in with me and actually get them involved more. And my daughters Rachel and Kristen to look at how they can, I suppose, enhance my business, and they're really keen to jump in and help as well. And so I suppose the excitement for me is getting both my daughters involved and being not only supportive of me, but learning more about the business world and how that works, and getting their head around the structures of how to make an Aboriginal business successful.
Deadly. And if anyone's interested, how do they get a hold of you?
Look through my website.
Yeah.
I've got a Zipella website, so it's just zipella.com.au.
Awesome.
Or just email me at zipiella@gmail.com.
Deadly. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, tell us who you are, who's your mob?
My name's Shaun Edwards. I'm a Cockerburn man from Staten River in Cape York, and I live in Cairns in the land of the Gimoy Wild Yidinji people.
Deadly. And you're here today with us at Supply Nation. Tell us a little bit about Wild Barra Co.
So Wild Barra started back in 2014 in Sydney, and we launched at Sydney Indigenous Fashion Week at Sydney Town Hall.
Yeah, deadly.
And it was an amazing event. From there, we kind of grew and developed our brand. We brought on Adam Linforth from Budgie Smuggler and did some work with Adam.
Wow.
Adam taught us a lot. We made some amazing clothing. I moved back to Cairns, and in my mind I was like, let's continue to do this, but the reality of the cost of running a clothing business is, not something that's, money that you get out of your wallet. You need a lot of budget to do it, and so it was really about how do I keep my identity going with Wild Barra, but also make something that I feel I have a connection to, that I can translate for others to feel like they are part of Cape York, which is where I come from, and walk away feeling like they are connected, to Aboriginal Australia.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, 2014, 10 years in business, that's a feat in itself. What's been the highlight? What's been your biggest milestone to date?
I think when we started, I did 5 fashion parades. I had to source my models, train my models, create the industry, as well as be a designer and an artist and all of the things. Yeah. And it's just like, since that time, Instagram has opened up. We didn't have Instagram, we had Facebook.
Yeah.
All of the socials are open and available now. And it's really good to see a young mob doing it and in their way. And I feel like a lot of us paved that way. And it's good to see that they're out there doing that. We got fashion awards, we got people winning awards for their fashion, and I just really love seeing that,
Yeah.
and creating a pathway and business and money and wealth for our young people who need to buy a house.
Yes, deadly. And Wild Barra is in a stall right next to us, and Clint and I just came over and we were smelling the perfumes. Tell us a little bit about that.
So today we've launched 2 fragrances that are signature to Wild Barra, Conch Yok and Conch Cur. Conch means, in my language, aroma.
Wow.
And so yok means wood, so I've made a woody aroma. And Kerr means body, so a body aroma.
Wow.
So they're both different. One's spicy, one's more chill, and they're genderless. So
Love that.
Being inclusive of everybody, making everybody feel welcome. Which is what we do, blackfellas. We're always making everyone else feel welcome.
That's true. How did you head in that direction? Like, what made you want to get into that?
I think it comes with 2014. Like, all of that time has led me to where I am today.
Yeah.
I've always liked smells. I remember Mum used to have Avon. She had all these little bottles.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
She had all these little bloody bottles, and we used to play with them as kids. And I've always remembered those bottles. The shape.
Yeah.
And I think that's where that seed was first planted,
Yeah.
And then obviously when you're working in government organisations, you've got to smell good.
Yes.
So I learnt about that.
Deadly.
I learnt about that, and it's just putting that together, and then going, let's make something for our own mob.
Yeah.
But also let's get everybody else wearing blackfellas fragrance.
And they smell so good.
Yeah.
So tell us, where can people find your perfumes, where they can find you online, all that sort of stuff?
So they can find us online, and our website is wildbarra.com.au.
Yep.
We've got the story there, and we'll have the products up there.
And we're looking for wholesalers, right? What keeps your business? What's next for you? What are you looking for?
Yeah, so I think the important thing is connecting to big industries. So let's have First Nations fragrance at the beginning of a Maya store in Australia or overseas, and represent our First Nations people, because we are able and ready to break into that market. We've got the products here today.
Yeah.
They are chemical free. They're biodegradable. We're using a sugarcane alcohol. We're not harming anyone or animals.
Yeah.
We are making it in North Queensland. And
homegrown.
It's homegrown,
We love
authentic First Nation experience.
Listen, I'm so proud of you. 2014 leading you to here today. Great work. And everyone should go and check out the perfumes at Wild Barra.
Thank you.
Thanks. Tell us who you are, where you come from.
My name's Jasmine. I am a proud Wiradjuri woman. My grandmother was from Muli Muli Mission up near Inverell, but I was born and raised on Darug country, so that's where home is for me, and it's where I've raised all my babies. But I am the founder of Killara Services, Australia's largest Aboriginal cleaning company.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about your story, because I met your husband earlier and he was telling me this story about you being pregnant and deciding to go into this sort of business venture.
Yep.
Tell me more about that.
So in 2017, we decided to leave the safety of employment with another company and to jump into the big wide world of creating our own business. We won our first cleaning contract when our daughter was 5 days old. So in the car drove up to Newcastle. Poor hubby had to clean that, and I just sat in the hotel with my baby doing the tender responses that we were doing at the time.
Yeah.
But fast forward to today, we have almost 600 employees across the country. 48% of our workforce are mob, 85% of that are female. So we've done nothing but really steam forward in creating opportunities for mob.
That's great. That's an amazing story. As we know, as black businesses and small black businesses that grow into these, I mean, a massive black business now, it's such a feat for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so inspiring. What's a real highlight for you in the last 7 years? What's been the moment where you were like, all right?
There's been a couple of moments.
Okay.
One was where there was this really apparent shift that we become an employer of choice for mob, meaning that we stopped recruiting the way, in blackfella recruiting anyway, we stopped recruiting the way that we were normally recruiting. We then found this pool of mob that wanted to work for Killara because we were a good business, because of word of mouth and that Koori grapevine.
Yeah.
There was that shift, and then in the last couple of years, it was a shift in regards to defining, I guess, a blueprint for what Aboriginal participation, not engagement, looks like, but participation looks like in a corporate setting.
Yeah.
For example, we look after the Department of Communities and Justice a building in Sydney. It's the tallest building in Parramatta, and it's 100% Aboriginal engaged. Or the participation, sorry. So Aboriginal contract manager, Aboriginal supervisor, and all of the women on that contract identify as being Aboriginal.
That's
so
crazy.
it was like not one or two Aboriginal people in a building, it was the entire workforce. So that was one of those moments where we're doing something right.
Yeah, amazing. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. And so I guess for me and other people that might be watching this who are interested in moving into black business, any advice?
Just do it. Just do it. There's so many opportunities available to mob starting businesses, but then anchor in and learn from the businesses that have already paved the way and had those challenges. I know for me, for example, like if I find another little up-and-coming cleaning company, I'll tuck them in and look after them.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what Aboriginal business does, right?
Yeah, we've been doing
mob looks after mob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deadly. So what's next? What are you looking forward to?
I think what's next for Killara is that we're positioning ourselves really well to be the first Aboriginal prime contractor to the Commonwealth Government.
Wow.
So not a subcontractor or a second or third tier subcontractor, but the main contract holder.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You're so deadly. How can we find you?
Check us out on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Or...
Website?
Yeah, our website, just killaraservices.com.au.
Deadly. Thank you so much, sis. Aww.
I am BJ Wehrman. I'm from Mount Isa, and my mob is the Wanyi Gungalita.
Wow, deadly. So tell us a bit about why you're at Supply Nation and Fast Scaff.
We got an invitation from CPB, and we thought might as well take a chance. We're trying to come down to Brisbane, expand to Brisbane, so basically perfect because we're looking at doing it at the end of the year.
Tell me about Fast Scaff. What do you do?
So we do scaffolding. We supply labour, scaffolding, boilermakers, all through the northwest Queensland region, specifically mining and power stations.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, elephant in the room, BJ,
Yep.
how old are you?
I'm 19.
19.
Yep.
And you running this business?
I'm the operations manager.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
So, yeah.
So tell us how you ended up here.
I was born in Mount Isa, lived most of my life there, moved to Brisbane with mum, and then Dad owns the company, so I just thought, you know what, I might as well move back, help him out. After a couple years, 2 years specifically, ended up supervising and then just got the opportunity to be a manager.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Tell us I can't imagine being an operations manager at 19. I think I was working at KFC.
Yeah.
So this is major, right?
Yeah.
What's been a highlight?
Look, it's easy to do it when the boys are so good, you know? Like, the crew we have at the moment is awesome, so very, very grateful for that. And it's good because everybody that we work for is also pretty understanding that I'm only 19, but they all know that I know what I'm talking about, so
That's
I guess it
deadly.
makes it pretty easy.
So what about some advice for some young people who are in business and they want to be operation managers? Any words of advice?
I think what I was telling myself is just, at the end of the day, you just got to put your head down
Yeah.
and just focus on what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier when your dad owns the company, but I'm pretty sure that if I hadn't done anything else, I would have had my head down and got there anyways.
Yeah, deadly. And what I love about your story is that legacy piece from your dad to you.
Yeah.
What's next for Fast Scaff? What's the dream?
Brisbane.
Yeah?
Brisbane is
Moving
the
to
next
Brisbane.
step. Yep.
So what
Get out of
are you
there.
looking for? What do you need to get here?
We've got an office set up. We just need to start finding labour.
Yep.
We've got a lot of men in Mount Isa willing to work. We need to find some people here ready to work with us and work for us.
Deadly. So how can they make contact with you?
We've got a lot of people going around this Supply Nation Connect, and it's awesome. We've got a lot of connections now. Should start kicking off pretty soon, and we should be good.
That's so exciting. And do you have a website that if people at home are interested in?
Fast Scaff. Is it fastscaff.com.au? Yes, that's the one. Go to that.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
BJ.
Thank you.
Have a
No
good day.
worries. See ya.
Uncle, tell me, who are you and who's your mob?
Okay, Kim Collard. I'm the founder and executive chairman of a company called Coolbardie, and also the chairman of another company called Koya Fleet Solutions. But my sort of role in more recent times is the chairman of the Bibbulmun Fund, which is our not-for-profit arm of the business that gives back to the Aboriginal community.
Yeah, deadly. So I just saw you with some checks.
Yeah.
Tell me about those.
Yeah, look, part proceeds of monies that are pumped into the Bibbulmun Fund. We established a foundation about 10 years ago.
Wow.
And one of my business mentors said to me, Kim, if this thing's get up off the ground, where do you want to be in 10 years' time? So that was the beginning of a discussion around what we call community investment model. That we've now named the Bibbulmun Fund, and so the catch cry today is what they call social procurement. So we've been, giving back to Aboriginal communities for the last 10 years, and this year Philanthropy Australia nominated us for a national award for Aboriginal businesses. So having gifted back $1.5 million to Aboriginal communities across Australia. So really, really proud. And hence you saw those two checks.
Yeah, amazing.
Where we donated two projects. One was She Hoops, which is Basketball Australia Indigenous Women's Leadership Program. And then there was another program with Cultural Corridors, which was a youth men's camp back in my country, Noongar country.
Wow.
So really good to be here in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Like to thank Supply Nation. It's an amazing event, incredibly well attended, and thank Kate and the team. It's always the premium event for Aboriginal business across Australia, and we're really proud and privileged to be represented here, and thank Supply Nation once again for a great trade show.
Deadly. Look, every time I walked past your booth, you were incredibly busy. So many people pulling you in so many, different directions. Black business, it's hard, it's a feat. And for a lot of a mob, I think it's kind of intimidating and scary. Yeah. Any advice for people who are interested in starting their own businesses and venturing out of into that sector?
Look, I'm a public speaker, and I've sort of travelled the world. I've spoken in conferences and universities, and I remember a year 7 teacher saying to me, "Collard, you'll never amount to anything." Yeah, and it was one of my teachers, I said year 7 teachers, who said that to me. The following year, however, pulled up by another school teacher, Mr. Brian Fellows, and Mr. Fellows said to me, "Kim," he said, "I've seen you in the playground, I've seen you on the football field." He says, "You're just a brilliant leader." He says, "You're a natural leader." He says, "I want you to focus on those sorts of things." So in 1 year, and then I talk about the influence and power of teachers and how it can break you or they can make you. And what Mr. Fellows did was undo the damage that Mr. Gallagher did. And so in a lot of my speeches around the world, I've spoken about, don't let anybody tell you, all right, that you can't do what you set out to achieve. So if you've got the goals, the visions, the ambition to be what you want to be, I say to all those people out there, those young entrepreneurs, those young business people, go for it. I mean, today is a classic example. Kate mentioned this morning there's over 5,000 Aboriginal businesses here represented now across the whole of Australia. So it's the fastest growing sector in the Australian economy, and so I encourage all those young Aboriginal businessmen, women, entrepreneurs out there, go for it.
Yeah.
If you've got a business plan, just roll it out, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. My daughter is involved in Koya Fleet Solutions, and one of those things I say to my children is that there's no greater freedom, autonomy and independence, all right, to have your own company where you've got your, the destination of your family, your grandchildren in your hands. So really encourage everybody out there to have a crack.
I was just going to say to you, because I did notice as well, you have your daughter working with you, that family legacy and that continued, giving
intergenerational,
back. It's so inspiring, and I'm just so proud to be able to have a conversation with you today, and congratulations on all of the things that you've done. I think you're a real role model that a lot of black fellas will look up to.
Thank you to Blak Hard. Mandanara, I hope you're recovering, sweetheart.
Yeah.
You should have been here.
She should have been.
But look, thank you so much for the opportunity, and love the work that you do also. So thank you.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Oh.
Talk about serious FOMO. I could not stop watching on Insta and looking on LinkedIn at all the deadly businesses that were posting, and also watching the Indigenous Business Review, a new news service that's highlighting, Black businesses and what's happening in this country from a Black business perspective. I just can't thank Ginny and my team, Clint, my producer, for being at Supply Nation and to be able to capture some of these amazing stories from some of our leading Black business owners. I hope you've enjoyed this deadly episode. Until next time, bye for now.
If you'd like any more info on today's guest, please visit our show notes in the episode description. A big shout out to all you Deadly Mob and allies who continue to listen, watch and support our podcast. Your feedback means the world. You can rate and review the podcast on Apple and Spotify, or even head to our socials and YouTube channel and drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. The Black Magic Woman podcast is produced by Clint Curtis.